All right, hello everybody. Um, so let's before we start class, same thing. Let's go over some announcements real quick. So today, you guys, this is today's review day. There's no material. Today's I will talk about what's gonna be on the exam. We're gonna review some materials since week one, week two, and we'll review, the stuff we've learned Monday and Tuesday. So before we start, make sure you turn in your homework. I believe by now should be your homework 9. Turn your homework 9 to whoever's in charge. They'll collect it. It's the first thing you guys have to turn in during class. You guys know that by now. So make sure you have that turned in. Next thing, let's see. Um, let's see. So I hope you guys have been working on your review packets. It's about 36 questions. I will I will do my best to post the solutions as soon as possible. Just know the answer key. Most likely, I'll post it up by maybe while you guys are doing tutoring. That way, you guys have time. That way, you guys have pretty much the rest of the evening to make sure you guys did have done your have done all your questions correctly. All right. How I would want you guys to do it. I don't want you guys to be barely starting on the review packet right now. What I want you guys to is I've already been working on the review packet since Monday. Today, really, this is just a review to review just some of the subjects that you guys might have forgotten, or maybe, um, or maybe like, oh, you didn't remember how to do a certain thing, or maybe you were just super confused, or today is that day to review, guys, or maybe there's a subject that you guys, oh man, you guys forgot that we learned about that, and I'm gonna go over it today. Okay, so if there's any I guess subjects. I barely touched on shapes and area and circumference the other day. I barely touched on it. We never really talked about it again. So I'll talk about it today again. It won't, like on the exam. It won't be something that's really hard. It'll be something really straightforward. Don't worry. So don't think that it's something that will be really difficult on the exam. So just remember, we'll go over that today, and yeah. So let's see what else. So yeah. So anyways, you guys, there's no homework today. Just know that I need you guys to study. I need you guys just to focus and study and do your best, because tomorrow is your midterm, and I can't afford you guys to do bad. Like I said, it's 30% of your guys' grade. That's a big portion of your grade. So if you guys are gonna fool around tonight and not do, and not study and not understand the material, then hey, sorry guys, but that's the deal. When I started this class, I made it very clear that the homework that the exam's going to be, it's going to be a big part of the grade, and don't mess around. Okay. Let's see what else. Keep on going, you guys. Keep on emailing me. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope that so far things haven't gotten too confusing. Um, let's see what else. I know, like, my past two videos have been really long. Has been almost exactly an hour and a half. Have been really long. Sorry, you guys. I'm really sorry about that. If you guys in your classes still haven't finished, if you guys if class was over and the video still wasn't over yet, and you guys had to leave, that's fine. But just make sure you finish watching the rest of it back in the dorms, okay? Or back in the dorms or doing tutoring. I know the rule that they don't let you guys use YouTube during tutoring, but I'll let all the tutors know that you guys are watching. I mean, other tutors should know you're watching. If you're watching if you're on YouTube, you're only watching my video. So just keep that in mind, you guys. I'll make a note of it. I'll ask them about it if if they say no, then we'll just watch it in your dorms, okay? But I don't really think there should be a problem with that. Just as long as as long as you're actually watching it for my class, not just watching like a music video or something. So let's see. So anyways, you guys. So I hope everybody's doing good. Um, I'm trying to think of anything else I have to get out of the way before we just jump in. So I don't know. I can't really think of anything else. So I think that's about it. Just know this review pack is not for points. This review pack is only for you guys to study. That's it. I'm not gonna promise you guys, but I'll tell you this much. If you guys are able to do each problem without any, if you're able to, if you understand how to do every single problem and do it, without any, problems by doing your questions, and you're getting the right answers and you understand how you got your answers, hey, you guys have nothing to worry about. You should easily ace my test. Like, there really isn't any other reason you shouldn't ace my test if you understand every single question on the review packet. If you don't, that's okay. Just those questions that you don't understand, ask your tutors or email me. Um, but make sure you understand those, you guys. All right. I mean, you guys don't have to. You guys don't even have to finish the whole review packet. I'm not asking you guys to finish completely. I would love that you guys finish it, because that way you guys have a lot of practice. But at least at least at least do a few problems from every subject here and there. All right. So if I have if in the review packet, and I think the first questions are about, you know, it's about evaluating expressions. At least do two or three or four of them. You don't have to do every single one. Just do most of them. Okay. Because I know a lot of you guys have projects and have other things for the classes that are due also this week, and I know that there's a lot of stress. So I'm really trying to make it as fair as possible. I don't want to just you guys be consumed by my class. And math is a lot of work, but you guys have other classes to worry about too. So I'm trying to work with you guys with that. So, anyways, just run down for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm not gonna post a lecture, you guys. Tomorrow, you guys are just gonna come to class. The tutor will just give you your exams. As soon as the exams are passed out, you guys no talking, no cheating, none of that. Once you're done, you get up, turn it in, and you guys get to leave. All right, and that's it. And you guys enjoy your weekend, and that's it. And then I'll see you guys on Monday. I'll be back Monday. So by over the weekend, I'll pick up all your assignments. I'll pick up your homeworks 8 and 9, because these homework assignments, they've been placed in my mailbox, along with after tomorrow I will have the exams in my mailbox. I will pick them up on Friday, get them graded over the weekend, and you guys will have your week 3 grade with everything up to date. So that's just so you guys know. Okay, let's see. Well, I mean, that's about it. That's all. I mean, if there's any questions, just you guys know, please email me. I know I've been talking about it all week. Please email me. Oh, by the way, I just want to make a really very clear point here. So Friday, I know that my office hours are Friday, but again, you guys, I'm not here Friday. So if for whatever reason you guys want to come to office hours, I know it's after the test, but for whatever, just just in case you guys wanted to come, just know I'm not here, you guys. So I'm not gonna be here during office hours. So I mean, I don't really think I can't really see a reason why you guys would come to office hours after an exam like that, unless you guys want to talk about your grade, or unless you guys wanted, I don't know, whatever it is. Just know I'm not gonna be here. So if it's a specific question like that, or something that you just want to talk to me in private, like I said, email me. Okay. And I'll be back Monday, so if you guys want to talk to me in person, I'll be back Monday. So, okay. All right, guys. You guys almost done with this week, and after this week, you guys have 2 more weeks in my class. 3 more weeks for the program, and 2 more in my class, and you guys are ready to go. So, I know it's coming really fast. So, anyways, all right. So let's get started, you guys. So, I mean, that's all I really had for announcements. So let's start with our class today. All right, I'll promise I will make it as long as today, because I know in previous classes, like, I made it super long where it would go over time, and some of you guys would have to watch the rest of the video later. I'm sorry about that, you guys. I'm just trying to do my best to estimate my time, and obviously, like, I've been going over my time, so I'm sorry about that. But today I'll just try to keep my video pretty on time, so that way, and allow and give you guys time to have flexibility during times you guys could be pausing the video and discussing things, or doing problems. Okay, so I'll try to limit my time today. Okay, so let's start today. So today this is just a review, guys. This is just gonna be a review video on all the subjects that we've covered during these past 3 weeks now. So if you guys want to see what subjects we've gone over, well, you could simply just go to Blackboard. So here I got Blackboard pulled up. Go to Blackboard, and then go to your summer 2015 folders, and it'll tell you a schedule for every week. So here is where my subjects are for every week. So week 1, we learned about variables and expressions, order operations, and then we learned about one-step, two-step, multi-step equations. Friday, we learned about literal equation, rate of change. Then week 2, we learned about slope, how to write on the slope-intercept form, or, if you guys know it better, by y equals mx plus b. And we didn't really do point slope form, so I won't really. Oh, I mean, point slope form is just, it's just your, trying to find your, you have points and you figure out, you have 2 points and you solve for your slope. So we've done that. Our standard form, remember that just y equals mx plus b. Let's see. We talked about adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing inequalities, solving inequalities. We did compound inequalities. We graphed inequalities, and we did systems equations, which it means that we graphed 2 inequalities and we found a common solution. Remember we did that, you guys. This week we started doing solving equations by graphing. We did solving equation systems by substitution and elimination. So that just gives you an idea what's going to be on the exam. So a lot of these subjects are going to be in the exam. Some of these subjects, like for example, literal, like the literal equation and the rate of change, that kind of intertwines with what we've learned of like the linear equation and slope-intercept form. I mean, those things are kind of intertwined together. So you won't see something specifically. You won't see a question specifically on like one subject. It'll just be a combination of all these subjects we've learned these past 3 weeks, you guys. So don't think that I mean, all you have to understand is as long as you have an understanding of each of these subjects we've gone over, and you have an understanding, you know how to do it, and you guys understand why it is, and hey, you really shouldn't have any problems, you guys. So please, you guys, and those of you guys have been taking notes, go over your notes. The biggest mistake a lot of students do is that we write down notes and then just go straight doing the homework or the review, and we forget a lot of rules because we're not going and checking our notes back. So that's why we're writing notes, right? You have your notes, you write them down, and because we don't have a book for this class, so there's a lot of these things on here that if you guys didn't write down during lecture, then sorry, but you missed out, and you're gonna have to get the notes from someone else. So unless you guys, you guys go online, and what you guys can also do is go online. Let's say there's a certain subject they say like you don't understand. Let's say graphing inequalities. Go online, type in graphing inequalities, and you'll find like a YouTube video on it, and it'll explain to you. You guys are more than welcome to do that. Okay, you can do that for any of these subjects if you guys are lost. Okay. So anyways, so this is everything that's gonna be on the exam, you guys. It's all these subjects. All right. I'm not gonna write all these subjects down, but the review packet pretty much reviews a combination of all these subjects together. Okay. There might be a subject here and there that I might not have put in because I didn't think it was necessary, but pretty much your whole exam is going to be on these last 3 weeks. Okay. So all right, so let's get started on our review today. Let me pull this up real quick. Hold on. Okay. All right, guys. So first thing I want to talk about, let's go over expressions. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go over the subjects, pretty briefly, and then we'll do some problems from the review packet, and then depending where we're in the class, I'll let you guys go. Okay. So let's go over first of all let's go over expressions. Remember, you guys, an expression is just a way to represent, a problem. That's all it is. It's just a way to represent, a certain problem. That's all. Like for example, we could say, you guys know, like say like I'm telling you, let's say like I'm trying to think of something you could say. Say like we had, we want to know we got 20 people, for example, and let's say I told you, well, we have both adults and we have, children, and I told you set up an expression telling, showing, demonstrating, like how many adults and how many children gave us, 20 people in general. So the way we could do that, we could write 20 equals adults. We could say adults is X, and then we could say our children is Y. we write this x, so the number of adults plus number of children will give us our 20 individuals that say like are in a room or something. So this is how we would express it. All right. So that's what an expression is. It's just a way to represent a problem. Okay. So that's the expressions. And then then like we don't just write expressions, but we also have to solve for them, right? So say like let's say we had there's 20 people in the room, and let's say we knew that there was 5. Let's say like x equals 5. Let's say we knew there was 5 adults, and let's say we don't know how many children are. Then all we have to do is solve it, right? We have to just solve for y. We have to solve for the amount of children. In this example, I mean, it depends on the problem, but in this example, I'm just saying y is children. So we just solve for it, right? We just gotta, subtract this 5 on this side, this 5 on this side, it becomes 15 equals y. So now we have 5 children in this example. All right, so we gotta set up. You have to understand what expressions mean, how to set them up, and how to solve for other variables that we don't know. Okay. All right. So let's start doing some examples from your review packet. So yeah, I'm gonna pull out the review packet, and I'll work on a few problems with you guys in case you guys haven't done so already. So okay, let's look at this real quick so you guys understand. So for the first few questions, I'm telling you guys, evaluate the expression given the value. So all I want you guys to do, like literally, guys, if you guys have a calculator, you can just plug this whole equation in, substitute the variable for the value given, and it'll give you the answer. That's all you have to do, you guys. I think this is the most straightforward questions you could ever get on an exam. I know they're long, but if you have a calculator and you know how to work your calculator, hey, you can just plug this whole thing in and you'll get your answer. But you know what? But also I want you to show me your work. I want you to show me your steps. You can use a calculator, that's fine. But I want you to show your steps when you put in, say, from like p, when you're putting in -8 into the p spot in the equation. I want you to at least show me that and show me how you started simplifying this whole equation. I still will need you to show me that. But as far as the math and adding, you can just do that on your calculator. That's fine by me. So okay. So for example, let's just do that. Let's just do that one. So let's do number 1, for example. So we got 5p minus 4p squared plus 3 minus 9p cubed. That doesn't even look like a cubed, huh? Cubed. There you go. And that's it. And then it's saying, so I'll write a semicolon. It's telling us that p equals -8. So all we have to do is just plug this -8 into all our p's and then solve for the answer. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's okay. So now we have our 5, the p, which is -8, minus 4, our p is -8 again, squared. Hold on. Squared plus 3 minus 9. P is -8, right? Again, and then it's just cubed. Okay, so let's solve this thing, right? Let's solve everything that's in the parentheses first, okay? So let's look at this real quick. Well, okay, let's start with, let's do our order operations, right? You guys know PEMDAS. Everybody in the first day of school, the first day of class, was pretty confident and they knew what PEMDAS was, all right? So let's do PEMDAS. Let's do everything in the parentheses. So let's look at the parentheses. Well, there's nothing in the parentheses other than like just one number, right? So let's go on to our next thing. Let's get our exponents. I mean, let's take care of our exponents first. So we don't have any exponents here, but we have exponents here and here. Let's take care of those exponents and just, let's get our answer. So what's the square of -8? Let's do my calculator. The square of -8 should be 64. All right. Be careful when you do this on your calculator, you guys. Sometimes it doesn't, the sign is wrong in the calculator. Like right now, I just did it, I did, -8 squared and gave me -64. Remember, that's not right. All right, the number is right. I mean, it is 64. But keep understand that when you're multiplying a negative by negative, in this case, if you're multiplying -8 by -8, it's gonna be a positive, not a negative. Okay, so don't just rely on your calculator either. You always make sure your calculator is telling you the right answer. So in this case, it would become -4, positive 64 plus 3, and then let me just write this down here like that, and then it's -9, and then okay, now what's the cube? The cube of 8. So if you have a calculator, go ahead, just find the cube of 8, and that should be -512. And then just so you guys remember, why is it -512? Because you're multiplying a negative by negative, which becomes a positive, but then you multiply it by another negative, which turns that positive times a negative into a negative. All right, guys. So I mean, this is simple exponent rules. All right. So this is simple basic math. And if you guys don't know this, then please, you try to learn this as soon as you can, because you need to understand this for my exam. Okay. So let's just finish this off. Just multiply whatever's in the parentheses by the outside number. And I mean, at this point, I don't really care. And at this point, you can just literally just plug everything into the calculator, and it'll give you the full answer. So it's become -40, become negative. Let's see, 4 negative 256 plus 3. And this one becomes positive 4608. Okay. Alright, I think everything's correct here. If I'm wrong, you guys, I'm sorry. If I messed up a little thing, I'm sorry. Okay, but my math should be correct at this point. Okay, and then all we have to do is just add them all across, right? So if you have a calculator, add -40 minus 256 plus 3 plus 4,608, and I got, my answer came to 4,315. That should be our answer. Okay, just to double check, let me just double check real quick. Let me put all this in my calculator, and if I get that answer, then hey, we were right. If we didn't, then there was a mistake. It's really easy to make a mistake, you guys. It doesn't matter how many years you've done this or how good you're at math. You're bound to always make a little mistake. You'll either forget a negative, or you'll forget to add a certain number. There's always there's always something that happens that there's a little error, and it's so easy to make. It doesn't matter how smart you are. Anybody can make an error. So anyways, I mean, this according to my calculator, this is the correct answer: 4,315. All right, so that's for the first one in the review packet. Okay, well that's it. So now we evaluated an expression using a given variable. So that's all you have to do, you guys. Just plug those in, and then just get your answer. That's it. So if we look at our review packet, that's the first one. That's the first one, and it's pretty much exactly what we're gonna do for all the other ones. Okay. Remember, keep in mind your order of operations. Okay. Let's see what else. All right, let's go over solving equations, you guys. So it's not always going to be just plug and chug. We have to actually have to solve equations, right? So let's work on some of. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to do a few from the review packet. I'm not gonna do all of them because I need you guys to have them so you guys can practice. But I want to do a few so you guys understand how each one works. So let me just pick a kind of complicated one. I don't want to pick something super easy, because then I want to pick something maybe like I would think people would have more, struggle more in. Let me think. Let's see. It's number 7. It's just because it's a long question. Let's just do number 7. Okay. Okay, we'll do number 7 on the review packet. So let's see. Let me just write this down. Okay. Like Alright guys, let me add some more room because I'm already running out. I was running too big. So give me a second. Let me add another page. Let's see. Okay, there you go. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, it's let me see if I can find like a thinner thinner pen. Give me a second. Okay. Alright, so let's look at our number 7. Like I said, I was going to do number 7. Okay, so write down number 7. I'm going to write down number 7. So negative 5 1 minus 5x plus, what's that, 5 negative 8x 8x minus 2 equals negative 4x minus 8x. Okay, guys, I hope that's looks right. It looks correct to me. So let's go ahead and solve this, guys. What this problem's asking is that we want to solve for x. Okay. So let's you know, we could do anything. We could start on the right hand side, the left hand side. It really doesn't matter at this point. Let's start on the left hand side. Let's start on this side since it looks really, you know, really complicated. So let's only worry about this side for now. Let's simplify this equation for now. So let's look at our parentheses, right? Because our PEMDAS rule says we got to start with parentheses. Can we simplify the parentheses? No, not at all, right? So we need to start distributing stuff, right? Because we can't do anything. So let's distribute. Let's start with this. Let's distribute the 5 into the 1, negative 5 into this 5. Let's go ahead with that becomes a negative 5, positive 25x. Okay. This the next one. This positive 5 in here, and this positive 5 in here. So we get 5 times negative 8. We get negative 40x, and 5 times negative 2 becomes negative 10. Okay, and then we write down our other problems as negative 4x minus 8x. Okay, now let's combine like terms. So now let's combine this 5 with this negative 10. Negative 5 with negative 10. This becomes, what do we get, guys? We get negative 15. Let's combine this 25x with this negative 40x. So 25x minus 40, that is, let's see, I'm just going to calculate here real quick. We get 15, negative 15x. Okay, equals negative 4x minus 8x. Okay, so then finally now let's combine the, well, before we bring those down, actually, let's see. Before we bring those down, let's combine them, and then we'll bring them down to the equation. So negative 4x minus 8x is negative 12x, right? And then lastly, we gotta move things around. So let's get rid of this 15 on this side, put it over here, and then what do we get? Oops, I moved too far. So negative 12 plus 15, we get positive 3x equals negative 15 divided 3 divided 3, and then we get, then what's our answer, you guys? X equals negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5. And that's it. So that should be our answer. All right, and then like I explained before, and just in case you guys still don't remember, we can double check and make sure that this value for x, this value we received for x is correct. So in order to check, we could do this, you guys. We could substitute this x value onto both sides of the equation, and if we get the same value on both sides of the equations, then we got the correct answer. So I'm not gonna show it right now. I'm just gonna do it on my calculator. I'm gonna substitute x on the left hand side of the equation, and then I'll substitute x on the right hand of the equation, and if we get the same exact numbers, then hey, it's a solution, and we got the correct answer. So I'm just gonna put that in my calculator. You guys go ahead and do it right now too. So you can just give me like a minute. Let me just put it in real quick. Okay, so on the left hand side, when I plug in x into the equation, I got 60. I don't know if everybody got the same thing, but I got 60 on this side of the equation. So now let's find out what we get on the other side of the equation. So on the other side of the equation is -4 times -5 minus 8 times -5 again. And sure enough, I also get 60. So this equation we get, so this is a solution, so our correct answer is going to be x equals -5. Okay, and this is how you guys could check. Alright, so that's how, I just want to do kind of like a more complicated one so you guys understand. You guys remember how we do that. So, okay, so just look at again our review packet. Let's see what else we got here. So we got solving for x, and whatever. So that's all you have to. That's all you have to do for that. All right. Okay. So here's I guess the biggest part I want to get to during the review, because I know I barely touched on the subject. When was it? Sometime, I think it was something like last week. I don't even remember. It was something that was like 2 weeks ago. I can't remember exactly. It feels like I barely touched on it, and we never talked about it again. So I want to incorporate some geometry in here so you guys already understand. So I want to review a little bit for you guys before I go into these questions, because I know some students had questions and I said I was going to get to them, but I never did. I apologize. I'm sorry. It's just, well, we had other things to do. But just know that as far as when we talk about area or circumference, I know I didn't talk about perimeter, which I realized way too late. Oh, well, damn, I forgot to talk about perimeter. So we'll talk about perimeter. Don't worry, there won't be a perimeter question on the exam, because like I said, I missed it. I forgot to talk about it, so I won't test you guys on that. It's on the review packet, but on the exam I won't include a question like that. Just remember your areas, okay? I will actually. What I'm gonna do is, like I promised some students, I'll put an equation sheet, so it'll tell you your area for all your shapes. Okay. So just to review real quick, what is the area? What is area? So area is pretty much just the amount. Like I said, there's a book definition, and there's also my definition. And well, I think in my view, an area is just pretty much the amount of stuff that is in a 2D plane. Like, in other words, it's in a flat plane. Okay, that's what I think area is, right? But here's the I guess the book definition. So area is the quantity that expresses the extent of two-dimensional figure or shape or planar lamina in the plane. Surface area is its analog on the two-dimensional surface of a three-dimensional object. I know that sounds wordy, but it pretty much just means that, say, like, area just pretty much, it just means quantity in a given area. So quantity just just amount, just an amount in a given space. In this space, we're talking about a two-dimensional space, right? A 2D space, because we're not talking about cubes or spheres. We're talking about squares and rectangles and triangles. These are shapes that are only two-dimensional. Okay, so I guess the definition is not so important. What's more important is I want you guys to know how to actually solve for them. So just to review real quick, remember, you guys, we have our shapes, right? These are our basic. We got a triangle, we got a square, rectangle. I'm throwing rectangle, and we got our circle. So let's talk about how to find the area of each one. So our area for our triangle is you can just write down A for area is our 1/2 times base times height. Our square, our area for our square is just, they just call these sides. So each part of the square is a side. So it's just, if you know one side, you can just square it. It's your side square. For a rectangle, you got your length and you got your width. So area will just equal length times width. And your circle is just your pi r squared. All right, and remember we said pi is 3.14. Okay, these are your formulas to solve for each one. So remember, our radius is just the halfway point. Pretty much it's the halfway point from the middle of the circle to the end. That's our radius, r. And then we talked about that from one end to another end of a circle right down the middle, that's our diameter, right? So that'd be our, so right here would be our d, our diameter. Okay, so let's just talk about the triangle first. So remember, this bottom one is our base, and then this thing right here is going to be our I'll just label it, this would be our h for our height. Okay, so let's, oops, I don't know why I deleted. Okay, give me a second, you guys. Anyways, okay. I was just trying to turn off my touchpad, but I don't know, I can't turn it off. Okay, so, okay, let's talk about our triangles first. Oops. Okay, so let's talk about triangles. And you know, I'll give you guys a few examples. Okay, there you go. Okay, so if I had a triangle, and it doesn't matter really if it's the right triangle or if it's an acute obtuse, it doesn't matter. It's still the same rule for each. I mean, it should be the same rule for each one at least. So, all right, if you had a triangle, and let's say I told you, I'm gonna throw you guys a curveball here, because I know I threw this in the homework and a lot of you guys didn't understand this. But let's say I told you guys that, say like this triangle right here, let's say I told you the base was 5 and the height, height is 8. Let's say we don't know what the height is of the triangle, but we do know one thing. Let's say I told you guys we knew that area was, I'm trying to think of a good area that this would get into. Let's say we knew that the area was, let's say we knew the area was 10. Say we knew A was 10 for area. So remember, we're talking about inches. We're talking about inches and inch. Remember, our area is inches squared. And let's say the question asked you, okay, just, here's the area, here's the base, but we don't know what the height is. So we want to find what the height is. So think of it like this. So, the formula for the area of a triangle is just an expression. That's all it is, you guys. It's an expression. You could rewrite it to solve for each variable. So since we don't know what height is, and we want to figure out what height is, let's set up this equation to solve for height. Okay? So how do we do that? So if I write down this, let me write down the formula down here. If we got our area equals 1/2 b h. Let's set this equation to solve for our height. So let's do this. So let's get rid of, let's get h by itself. So let's get rid of this b. So let's divide this b by itself on this side. Divide it over here. All right. And then if we write this thing, it'll be 8 over b equals 1/2 h. Now let's get rid of this 1/2. So all we have to do by this 1/2, we gotta divide it by itself, right? So remember when we divide fractions, you have to find the reciprocal and then you multiply them together, right? That's why I get 2 over 1. And then let's do the same thing over here. So it's just 2 over 1. And then if we write this thing, if we write this whole equation over here, we're gonna get 2a over b equals h. So in other words, 2 times the area over the divided by the base is going to give us our height. So we set up our equation. So now all we have to do, since we set up our expression, we just plug in the variables area and base, and we get our height, and that's it. So let's go ahead and do that. So we know that our A is going to be 2 inches, 10 inches squared, right, for our area. Our base is going to be 5 inches. Let's do, this is simple. This is, I mean, we could do this in a calculator real quick. So 2 times 10 is just 20, divided by 5 is 4. And it's not going to be 4, but it's going to be 4 inches. Okay, guys? And that's it. So don't think that just because I tell you guys, oh, I'm teaching you guys about area and, area or circumference or whatever, just because I'm telling you guys about that doesn't mean I'm not going to ask you a question where I give you the area but I don't give you the height, or I give you the area but I don't give you the base, right? It's not always straightforward. I want you guys to, the reason why I included at least area into this part, in this section of the math class, is because you need, it involves a lot of, it really involves a lot of expressions and rearranging expressions and solving for certain variables in expressions. So I want you guys to get used to this. Okay, don't worry, there's not going to be that many area problems on the exam, because I know we barely touched on it. I just want you guys to understand I want you to understand what area is, but also pretty much how we could rearrange those equations to solve for unknown variables. Okay, so anyways, that's the example I wanted to give with triangle. And then I hope, honestly, you guys, I almost feel like I really shouldn't even do them, but like for example, the square, it's pretty straightforward, you guys. If you know one side of the square, then you could just square it by itself. Say for example, I'm not gonna write it out, but say for example, one of the sides of the square was 10, then if a square should have all the same sides, you guys. So if we only know one side is 10, then what dimension does the other 3 sides have to be? Well, they all have to be 10, right? So all we have to do to find the area for the square is just, right here we just put in for our side, we just put in 10, we would square it, we get 100. So the area in my example would be 100. Okay, that's it. Okay, and the same thing with your rectangles. So same thing with your rectangles. It's straightforward, you guys. You guys know your length, you guys know your width. You multiply them together, you get your area. If you guys only have your area and don't have your length, then hey, all you have to do is, if you know your width, then set this expression up to solve for your length, right? It's just rearranging equations. That's all it is. All right, I want to talk a little bit more about the circle, because I know the circle could be a little confusing. All right, you guys. And I know, I don't have that much. I really don't have that much time during class to explain about squares and rectangles, because I believe they're pretty straightforward. I don't think you guys need that much explaining. Circles are another one that I kind of want to, kind of go over, because I know they could be a little more confusing. So let's go over circles real quick. So, okay. So the review. So there's a circle right here, and then there's a halfway point. This line, remember this guy, this is our radius. And then here I'll use a different color for. So then this line right, so this at this point right here, this is going to be our diameter. So D for diameter, R for radius. Okay, and our area for a circle is just going to be pi r squared. Okay, what it means is that the area of the circle is just going to be pi. Remember we said pi is always going to equal 3.14. In my class you use 3.14. Don't use. I know there's like a, it's a never-ending number, but just use 3.14 for my exam. So anyway, so we know what pi is. R, which is our radius, which is just it's just whatever value our radius is, and square it, and we got an area. Pretty simple, right, you guys? So remember that I'll write an equation right here. So R, here I'll write it lowercase actually. So your radius R equals half of your diameter. Okay, that's what your radius is. Or you could also think of it as or your diameter equals 2 times your radius. All right, so they're interchangeable, right, guys? Just understand that your radius is half your diameter, and your diameter is 2 times your radius. That's all you understand. You understand, like, radius is just from the halfway point of the circle to the end, and your diameter is pretty much right through the middle of the circle. So that's all it is. All right, let's do an example so you guys understand. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's say I told you there's a certain circle. Let's say the circle has an area of 50 inches squared. Let's say I told you that, right? And I told you, all right, so what is, and I want to tell you, I want to know, what is its radius? All right, so if I tell you the area is 50 inches squared, I don't know its radius. All right, but I do know the formula. Right, so remember the formula is just y equals the pi r squared. Okay, so let's rearrange this formula to solve for radius. Okay, we could easily do that, you guys. So let's rearrange. Let's solve for r. Okay, let's rearrange this. So it's gonna be a over this pi. We divide the pi by itself. Take rid of it on this side. Divide it on this side. So it's like this. And then if you guys remember your rules for exponents, so we want to get rid of this exponent. So in order to get rid of it on this side, we need to go ahead and square root it on this side. Okay, so then if we write this over here, it's going to be something like like that. A over pi equals the radius. Okay, so now we have our problem set up to solve for a radius. So now all we have to do, if you have our calculator, let's get our calculator. Let's put our square root, put in our value for area, which is 50, our value for pi, and pi is 3.14. Or if you're calculator, you just press pi, just the pi option on your graphing calculator, press enter, and I got that r equals, it's 3.99, or you just round it off and it's just 4. Just round it, it's 4. It's 4 inches. That's it, you guys. So again, I'm gonna put these formulas on your exam. It'd be nice if you guys memorize them, but I'll put them up because, like I said, we didn't have much practice in these. There were just a few. The biggest thing the biggest reason I put shapes and areas in this is because I want to see that you guys understand how to rewrite expressions to solve for desired variables. So in this case, we wanted to know what a radius was, right? So we were able to rewrite our expression to solve for a radius. All right, that's the biggest thing I need you guys to understand. It's just how to use those formulas to rewrite and solve for certain variables. Okay, so just don't worry, guys. There won't be that many questions on over this subject on the exam because we barely went over it. I'll add a few questions, and if I do add more, they'll be straightforward. It won't be anything you guys haven't done. Okay, if you guys have questions on this, ask the tutor right now, or ask them after class. I'm doing tutor, but ask them about how to about areas. Okay. Let's see. Let me just take a look at what's. Oh, okay. All right. So like I said, I don't want to take too long, you guys. So, okay. Anyways, so that's how we do areas. How we do area for a circle. Okay. And we have our variables and we just solve for each variable. Okay. I'm not gonna do too many on that because you guys really should understand that by now. Let's see what else. So anyway, that's this area. I'm not gonna talk about circumference because I just want to stick to area, you guys. Just stick to area. That's all I want to stick to this exam right now. Circumference. I know we went over circumference, but I'm not gonna include it in the exam. Don't worry about it. Not right now. You guys need to know it. You guys need to know how it works, but I'm not gonna test you guys on that. Okay, it's just gonna be on area. All right. So as long as You understand how these areas work. That's all you understand. Don't worry about perimeter. Don't worry about circumference. I know I taught you guys about, I mentioned about perimeter. I mean, about perimeter, about circumference, and we'll talk about it next week more. If we'll talk about perimeter more and circumference next week. But for now, just know your areas. Okay, that's all I want you to know. It's how area works, how the formula for each shape is. That's it. Okay, let's see. All right, so let me take a look at this outer. Okay, let's look at our problems. All right, so I'm looking at our review packet. Okay, so okay, I know some of these tell you, oh, like a rectangle has perimeter of 182. Don't worry. I guess don't worry about that, you guys. Like, it's okay. Like, just do it, but just know I'm not gonna test you guys as much on that. I'm really not. I'm only gonna test you guys on what areas, because that's what I really want to share. Just know about area, circumference, and we went over it. I'm not gonna go right now because circumference is pretty straightforward. Circumference is just, remember, your pi times your diameter. That's all it is. It's the same thing. Your perimeter. Your perimeter is really, I mean, pretty much straightforward. It's just the length around the shape. I mean, we didn't go over it, so that's why I'm not gonna test it. So I know it's on the packet, but it's okay. Just do it, but just know I won't test you guys on this one. Okay? Just worry about your area, your circum. Well, actually, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about. I might actually quiz you guys. I might actually test you guys circumference, just because we did talk about it. So, and it's nothing hard, you guys. It's just a formula that you just plug in, and we get our number. So I'm not sure. I might throw in a circumference question in there. I mean, because we did go over it, you guys. It's not like we didn't go over it. So let me just. So if we're looking at our circle, this is our circle right here. Remember that circumference is c equals pi times your diameter, or you could say our circumference equals 2 pi times your radius. All right, that's our circumference. The same thing as the area. It's the same way to, you just gotta plug and chug, and that's it. All right, circumference is just the area around the circle. That's it. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, the length around the circle. That's it. All right, so I might or might not put a question on that, but I guess I'll give you guys a formula sheet that has all your areas, and I'll put in the circumference. And really, you guys, like, if you guys know how to, like, the biggest take-home message is, if you guys know how to rearrange expressions, then you should be fine. Okay, even if we didn't go over it that much, you should be fine. Like, I'm just testing you guys on how to rearrange the equations and solve for certain variables. Anyways, so let's do one from the from the packet. So hold on, let me add another. I already ran out another page again. So let's see. Okay, there you go. I added another page. Hold on, let me just go all the way up. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's do. I'm gonna do one from your review packet. Let me do another one. So this one. All right. So let's see. Okay, let me get this one. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try to do maybe the more trickier one of the question, so that that way you understand that it's still the same process. So let's look at each one. Number 10, it says, what is the width of a rectangle with length 14 centimeters and area 161? I'm not gonna do that. It's pretty straightforward, you guys. I mean, your area for a rectangle is just length times width. If you know length and you know area, then you can just solve for width. All right, it's straightforward. I don't think I'm gonna do that, you guys. And this is number 11. What is the radius of a circle with a circumference of 30? Okay, that's something I'll do, because I know, like I said, we we barely touched on it, so we'll do that one. So, okay, so if it's telling us that, okay, we got our circle, and it's telling us our radius. So our radius R is oh, no, I'm sorry, we don't know our radius. That's the thing. Let me just yeah. So we don't know our radius, sorry. But it's telling us that we know that our circumference, our C circumference, is 13 feet. Then what is R? Then what is our radius? All right, let's go ahead and solve that, you guys. I mean, it's not this one isn't a hard question. Remember, I said circumference equals pi times diameter, or you could say, or it's the same thing as saying circumference is 2 times your pi times your radius. It's the same exact thing. They both work. Since we're looking for radius, let's use this. Let's use this one. Okay. So we know our circumference. We don't know our r. So this is the one that we want to solve for. So let's set this expression up so that we solve for r. So I'm not gonna go through the whole math. Just know that, you know, if you guys know how to rewrite your expression, this should be circumference over 2 pi equals r. All right. So all I did was divide the 2 pi on this side, divide on this side, and got r by. So that's all I did, you guys. Okay. So now let's plug in our circumference. Let's plug in a variable, which is circumference, and then it's 2 pi. Remember, pi is just 3.14. So I'm gonna plug this in the calculator. We got 13 over 2 pi, and I get 2 well, I'm just gonna round it up. I will 2.07 feet for my radius. So this is my radius. So radius equals 2.07 feet. And that's our answer. All right, guys. So like I said, if you guys know what each equation means, all I want you guys, and all you have to do is just rewrite the expression and solve for the missing variables. Okay, that is all I want you guys to do for those. All right, so that's what I'm. So that I just circumference one. So looking at this, don't worry about this number 12, this perimeter one. If you guys know how to do perimeter, that's great. That's awesome. You know, I mean, perimeter is not really hard to understand, but it's just since I didn't go over it, I'm not gonna test you guys on it. Remember, I said if I don't go over it in class, I won't test you guys on it because I want to be fair, and I don't think it's fair if I don't think it would be fair if I test you on something that I didn't touch on. So it's really easy. We'll talk about it after I come back next week. I mean, just so you guys can understand, but just know it won't be on the exam. Okay. And then, okay, so that's those. All right, so now let's look at writing equations in slope-intercept form, or write them as a linear equation. Okay, so let me grab, let me just get my screen right here. So okay, what's our linear equation? Our linear equation, or slope-intercept form linear equation is what? What is that, guys? Y equals mx plus b. It's our linear equation. All right. So if we're comparing, if we're comparing, if we got an equation and we want to set it up, we got to set it up in this format, right? So let's look at a few examples. Let's look at this. It's number 14. All right, like I said, you guys, I'm only going to do a few so that way you guys understand how this works. So this is number 14. So we got 3. Oops. Let's see. We got 3x minus 2y equals negative 16. All right, so I want you to set this equation up to look like this. All right. So I'm sorry, guys. I know if I haven't had you guys work, pause the video and do any of this real quick because I just been trying to get through them. But pause the video for a few minutes and rearrange this equation to look, to look like this. So go ahead and do that. Just a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and that's it. All right, guys. So now I hope everybody's done. So let's I'll do the solution. So let's do it. So we got to get y by itself, right? Because y is by itself in this in the slope-intercept form. So let's get rid of this 3x to get y by itself. Negative 3x over here, negative 3x over here, and then we get negative 2y is equal to negative 16 minus 3x. Okay. Last thing we got to do, divide the negative 2 on both sides, negative 2 on both sides, and then I'll write this up here, so equal y. What's 16 divided 2 dividing 16 is what, you guys? 8, right? Positive 8 because there's 2 negatives, so 2 negatives becomes a positive. It's 8. And then 2 into 3, we can't do this, so we'll just leave it as a fraction, but it'll be a positive fraction because we got two negatives, so it'll just be positive 3 over 2x, or you could just write it, in the way it should be, which is 3 over 2x plus 8. And that's it. All right, and that'll be our answer. All right, pretty straightforward, right, you guys? All I want you guys, I'm just getting you guys to solve for certain variables. That's it. That's all we've been talking about these past few weeks. Okay, let's so that's what I mean by a slope intercept form. You guys should understand that. Okay, so let's move on to another. Let's talk about if I give you guys a point on a graph and I tell you guys the slope, I want you guys to write an equation for it. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's let's do one of those. Oops, I don't know if I pulled this up. Okay, so let's do another one. Well, I want to do another one from your assignment. So let's do like number. I'm trying to think of one. Maybe some you guys would have trouble. Let's do a negative. Let's do like number 18. I don't know. I think that was pretty fair. So I think number 18 was 1, 2, -7. Okay. Let's see, review. Okay. Oops. Okay. So if I told you that a line passed through the coordinates, x1 and y2, and has a slope of -7. Remember, m is slope. And I told you guys, write me an equation find an equation that passes through the point 1 and 2 and has a slope of -7. So, all right. So remember, our linear equation is just y equals mx plus b, right? So look at this. It already told us what our slope is. Our slope is, -7. So we could already write y equals -7x plus b. Okay. If this slope with this line has to pass through these points, remember that these points are just your x and your y, then you could just plug in your x and your y in your linear equation and solve for your y-intercept b. Remember, b is y-intercept. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's plug in, our y, which is 2, and our x, which is 1, and let's solve for b, or y-intercept. So -7 times 1 is -7. It's 2 plus b. And then let's go ahead and solve for b. So now all we have to do is divide the -7 on this side, divide on this side, and we get -2 over 7 equals b. Okay, so we got this is our y-intercept, and then we have our slope right here. So now let's write this as an equation. It's going to be y equals -7x minus 2 over 7. And that's our answer. and that's how I want you guys to write it in a slope-intercept form, right? That's how I want you guys to solve these equations. Okay, I know I'm going really fast. I'm sorry, but if I'm going too fast for you guys, like I said, these videos are available after class, so you guys can watch them again, and it's for you guys. Okay, so I'm just trying to get through as much as I can because I know class is going to end in a little bit, so I'm just really trying to rush through these just so you guys understand what's going to be on the exam. Anyway, that's how we do those equations. All right, let's see what else we got here before we. Let's see. Okay, now let's talk about inequalities. All right, you guys. So pretty simple, right? For these example, I just want you to solve each inequality and just graph it in a regular line graph. That's all I want you to do. So let's see. I'm not gonna do these because these are pretty straightforward. But let's work on something like number 24. Let's work on number 24, guys. I'll do number 20. Well, not 24. I'll do number 26. All right, because I know like a lot of people have trouble with these kind of equations right here. So remember, you guys, like this is just a general rule. If we're talking about, when we're talking about inequalities. So when we're talking about inequalities, and we're comparing two equations. So say we're comparing, you know, say we're comparing one equation to the other. For example, if we have a line graph and say one inequality is going this way and the other inequality is pointing in this way, then this is a problem. It's either the solution for this problem is either this equation or remember, or this is a key word, or this equation. All right. If we graphed an inequality and say like they're pointing in the same direction like this, this means that these two equations they share they share the same solutions, the same solutions. So this question would be, it's either this equation and keyword and it's this equation. All right. So I just want to, I know because a lot of these questions are and or, it's either, it's this inequality or is this inequality. So for example, like in this one, remember, look at number 24. It's telling you that the first equation and they say or the second equation. It's just saying, so if you guys already understand what or means, it means that they're not going to share the common solutions. Their inequalities, their arrows are not going to be intersecting with each other. They're going to be pointing different directions. So you already know that it should be a question that that they're not going to share the same common solutions. Okay. And when we're talking about and, I don't know if I don't have an and problem in here. Oh, sorry, I guess I didn't put it in. But I didn't put an and problem. But remember when we're talking about a problem and another problem, it means that they're going to share the same common solution. All right, so you have to understand for that. So, all right, so let's do one of these. I'll just do one real quick so that you guys understand. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I'm just gonna try to I'll use like this. Okay, I'll use like this part. Okay, let's do number. Let's take a look at this. I'll do number 26, you guys, because this number 26 doesn't tell us whether it's and or problem. It just tells us this is what the this is what the equation is. So let's do that. Let's do that one, and then we'll find out whether it's either whether both equations are true or the only one is true. So okay, let me go ahead and write this. I'll write it right here. All right, so number 24. No, not number 26. I'm sorry, I'm not doing number 24. Here's 36 lesser than greater than 3x minus 6. So lesser than negative 15. All right. So remember when we have an equation like this, then remember this could really mean it's either it could be both equations or it could only be one equation. So remember we can't graph equation like this, right, you guys? We have to set, these are two inequalities. There's an inequality right here, and there's equality on this side, and then the equality on the other side. So we need to separate these two equations. These equations they're currently right now they're as one. So just so you guys could see, there's a here. Let me just make this bigger. So let's see. Give me a second. So if we look at this problem, like I said, there's two equations. There's one right here. There's one equation, and then there's also this equation right here. So let's grab these two equations and pull them apart, okay? Let's go ahead and do that. So let's write the first equation. Negative 36 is lesser than 3x minus 6. And it says 3x minus 6 is lesser than negative 15. All right, so we split both inequalities out. So now let's solve each inequality. So let's solve the first one. So, we have the x over here, 6 over here, add the 6 over here, we get negative 30, and then we get 3x, and then we got to divide the x on each side. So negative 10, it's lesser than x. And then we solve this side. So now we gotta add this 6 on this side, add on this side. We get 3x. It's lesser than I think it's like -9, right? And divide the 3 on both sides, and then you get x is lesser than -3. Remember the rule, you guys, with the inequality signs? Only when you're dividing or multiplying on either side by a negative number is when you switch your sign. Okay, that's only when you're multiplying across the equation. All right. So say like if you're say like in one side you're already multiplying by negative, but you're not moving it to the other side, then don't switch the sign. You don't have, you only switch the sign when you're dividing or multiplying it by moving it to the other side of the equation. That's only when you switch the sign. But in this case, remember, we're not switching signs. All right. Like for example, like in this one right here, like remember we divided this 3 on this side and divided 3 over here. I mean, you're dividing by a negative on this side, but I mean you're not moving this -9 over on the other side. You're not moving this -9 over here. It's only staying in one place. So the inequality wouldn't change. It only changes if you're going to divide a negative across the equation to either divide or multiply. All right, guys. So that's why the sign doesn't change here. So lastly, all you have to do, you have a number line, you graph them. -10 is out here, -3 is right here. Then just graph them. This is just an open circle. So -10 is less than x, or you can also rewrite and say x is greater than -10. It doesn't really matter. Whatever helps you guys. If this makes more sense for you guys, write it like this. So x is greater than -10. So if it's greater, it's going to be pointing this way. X is lesser than -3. So that arrow's going to be pointing to the left on this way. So this is an AND problem, right? So both solutions are satisfied here. So x could really work for both equations. So anyways, let's write this equation and this equation together. I want to combine them. How do I do that? We write a -10 lesser than x, which is lesser than -3. And this is how we would write them combined. That's it. Alright, guys. So if this is the end of class, just you guys can get going. Please, good luck on tomorrow on the exam. I'm just saying this because I'm in my video. It looks like I'm already at 1 hour and 12 minutes, and I don't want to. If you guys have to leave, if it's already in the class, just get going. You can watch this video on your own time if you guys didn't finish. I'm gonna go over one more inequality problem before I just before I finish this video. So if you guys want, watch the review video again. Like I said, there's things online you can look up. Do your review packet. I'm not in this review video. I'm not gonna go over elimination and substitution just because. I already have videos made for that since Monday and Tuesday, so I don't think there's a need to even make I don't even think I should mention it because you guys could just go back and watch those videos. So the last thing I want to talk about is just graphing the inequalities. So if we look at for example, like these questions, they're linear equations, and we want to graph them together and find and shade in the areas in the graph. So that's the last thing I'm gonna do. Before I stop this video. But if you guys have to leave now, go ahead. It's fine. Just make sure to watch this last part so you guys understand it. Well, anyways, you guys, good luck. Good luck on the exam. Do your best. Please study. If you have any questions, please ask your tutors. Honestly, guys, I'm doing my best to teach, even though I'm not there. I know a video only goes a certain only goes so long until you don't there's gonna be a point where you're not gonna get it completely. But just work with me. I'm doing my best here. If you have any questions, like I said, ask your tutors or email me. But don't just keep it to yourself. Ask. Okay. Anyways, you guys. So if you guys have to go, get going. I'm gonna do one more problem from graphing inequalities, and that's the end of the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now before I waste more time, because I'm already okay. So let's see here. I'll do this on a new page so that way you guys understand. So insert pages, blank page. Okay, So the last thing I want to talk about before I end this video is I want to talk about graphing inequalities, like graphing linear inequalities. Remember we've been talking. What's a linear equation, you guys? Remember it's your y equals mx plus b, right? So let's write that out. Well, let me just get a good part on the page. So let's write out. Let's see. Review. Let's see. Starting. Okay. Okay, remember we said linear equations y equals mx plus b, right? So if we have our y equals mx plus b, we just have a coordinate plane. We have our slope, and we have our intercept. Remember our intercept, we just graph. We first have to graph our intercept, right? And then we graph intercept, then we graph our slope. Remember our slope, or m equals our rise over our run. And if it's negative slope, instead of rising, you're going down, and you're gonna run. Okay, just to make that clear. Let's see. So anyway, so now we want to graph these inequalities, right? Let's graph, for example, like let's look at number 30, or let's get number 29. I feel like number 30 is too easy. I think number 29 would be a more challenging one, or it should be at least. You guys, I don't know. So I'll do. Well, actually no, I'll do number 30. Never mind. I'll take that back. I'll do number 30. Okay. So I'm gonna write down number 30. Give me a second. All right, so number 30, we have x is lesser than or equal to negative 3, and we also have y is lesser than 5 over 3x plus 2. All right, so let's go ahead and graph these and just graph their inequality with the correct sign. So here are these two inequalities. So first of all, before you even do anything, just think of these like they're just a regular, you're just graphing lines. That's all you're doing. So if we have our coordinate plane right here, all right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 5, 6, 7. All right, I'm just doing it really rough. All right, guys. So right here, let's graph the first equation. So the first one is y is, I'm sorry, not y. X is lesser than or equal to negative 3. Remember we talked about that. Like we have talked about whenever an x equals something, then we're gonna graph it on the x-axis, not the y-axis. Okay. So in the first one, like this equation right here, we're simply gonna graph this equation on the x-axis because the variable is an x, not a y. So we're gonna graph the negative 3 on the x. So negative 3 right here. And then since that is the only point we have, we're gonna draw a line, going vertically like this. So remember, you guys, this is called an undefined. This one has an undefined slope. There's no slope, you guys. It's just telling us that x that at point negative that at this point is where x is true. So like that. All right. Since this is lesser than equal than to an equality sign, then it's a solid line. Okay. Now let's look at the next equation. Well, actually, no, before I move on to the next equation, that's actually, before I move on, let me just probably get a different color. Alright, so before I move on, let's shade in the area that's supposed to be shading, alright, you guys? So if we look at this, x is lesser than, greater than negative 3. So if you're saying that if I'm saying x is smaller than negative 3, if it's smaller, then we're going to shade it in which direction, you guys? This direction, right? Oh man, that's a big marker. Here, let me just, I don't like that marker. It's just too big. All right, so the shading like this area. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do it super thick because then, you won't be able to see your signs and whatnot. So I'm gonna shade in everything that's in this area. All right, I hope that let's see. give me a second, you guys. Sorry, that looks. I don't know. I'll use a highlighter because I know it looks weird with this. I'll use purple. So this means that everything on this side is gonna be shaded in, right? That's all that means. So just remember, purple is with this line, something like that. Okay, that's the best I could do. All right, so we know that. So now, okay, so now let's graph our next equation, which is it's y is lesser than 5/3 plus 2. So I'll use blue for that one. Okay, so then let's graph it. So we go to 2, y-intercept is 2, and then we graph our slope, which is 5/3. It's 5 up, so it's rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's right here, and then we do our run, which is 3. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, right there. All right, so our y-intercept right there, and our other points up here. Okay. All right, so now let's get our line. Remember, this is gonna be a dotted line because this is not an equal to inequality. This is just a lesser than. So we're gonna do a dotted line. So I'm gonna do a dotted line right here. So it's gonna be. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So now let's look at this equation. So if we're saying that y is less than this side of the equation, it's less than. So if it's smaller than, then are we gonna shade underneath the line or over the line? What do you guys think? So if you guys say underneath the line, you guys are correct. We're gonna shade everything underneath the line. So here I'll use this blue color. So we're gonna shade everything underneath this line, and this is gonna be the solution. So everything under here, and then go over here. I think this is actually a better way to represent this, so that you guys it makes sense what I mean by when I'm gonna say they both share some common solutions. I feel like with this highlighter is actually gonna make a lot more sense. So now that we're done shading everything on that side, let me just shade a little bit in here. Okay. So now we're done shading everything. We're done graphing our solutions. We're done graphing our inequalities. So now let's analyze this. So on your exam, if I had you guys a question like this, I want you guys. I know you guys only have a pencil, so I want you guys maybe to lightly shade in, say let's say like these areas and these areas, but on the areas where both equations share the common solution, I want you to fill it in dark. All right, I want you with your pencil, fill it in really dark till you demonstrate to me that in this area right here, for example, in this equation, this area right here, this is where they both share the same solution. Okay, this is where they intersect, and this is where they both can share the same solutions. All right, and that's all, you guys. That's how we graph inequalities. And that's pretty much it, you guys. And sometimes if we have two lines that are in parallel and they don't intersect anymore, then hey, they're in parallel. There's no solution, right? There's no common. They don't have the same common solutions. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? So if we have two lines in parallel and their inequalities are and their solution sets are not their solutions are not intersecting, they are like how they are here, then that's gonna be then those two don't have a solution set. They don't share the same solutions. That's what I'm trying to say. So I hope this made sense, you guys. I was just trying to rush through these examples because we had a lot of material that we went over. If you have questions on substitution elimination, I'm not gonna go over that right now because well, I made videos on that. I made videos on Monday and Tuesday, and I really don't think I should be going over that right now. If you guys have questions on that, go through those videos or go on YouTube. Go, ask your tutors, ask me, email me. All right, guys. So this is it. This is the end. This is the last video I'm gonna send out this week. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Good luck on your exams. I hope everything's doing well. I hope everything in the homework is going well. I hope everything is going right. I hope my biggest worry is that something happens and you guys are not able to play these videos. That's my biggest worry. But if it worked out, that's amazing. And if it didn't confuse you guys, and that's even better. But do your best. And good luck, you guys. So over the weekend, I'll collect everything. I'll collect your exams. I'll grade your exams. I'll update your grade. You'll have your grade 3 posted by Monday of next week, and you guys will know where you're at halfway through my course. All right. So I don't have anything else to say. If like whatever happens, I'll send you guys an announcement through Blackboard. So just keep checking Blackboard. If there's anything else I remember, I want to remind you guys. But as for now, this is it. Well, if you guys this is the end of class, then you're free to leave. If you're at your dorm, then just make sure you understood all this stuff. Anyways, all right, guys. Well, this is it. Have a good day.